What's up, everybody? Welcome and thank you for tuning in to the fourth ever episode of Pack Casual. I'm your man, Rob Westerman of GP Daily, and I'm joined by my permanent guest co-host for this show, Johnathan Beckman. How we doing, John?
Doing good. Excited. Football week. Game days is upon us. A little college football appetizer. I'm more of a NFL guy, but I'm ready to get into it. See the big games really go down. I'm an NFL guy.
Yeah, well, as you know, I'm a Badger fan, and my texts were flowing in from you after they, in quotes from what you said, choked, losing 16-10. So I appreciate your feedback on the game, and you called it before, saying they're going to choke. So
It was poor offense from them.
poor offense, poor execution. Graham Mertz was just miserable watching. I mean, he needs to figure out how to hand the ball off and maybe score in the red zone. So, anyways, before we get started, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Man Cave Collections. From the greats of the past to the shining stars currently dominating their sport, Man Cave Collections has what you need as far as authentically signed, unsigned, and game used memorabilia to fulfill your fandom. Man Cave Collections, thank you. Go check them out, mancavecollections.com. So, to kick things off, Packers came out with their unofficial depth chart, and that features Jenkins at left tackle, Patrick at left guard, Myers at center, Newman at right guard, and Billy Turner right tackle. I've always been a offensive line wins championships kind of guy, and I think we saw last postseason how important it was, to have a solid O line, a good O line to kind of help you through those postseason trench battles. And as you guys saw, and you too, John, we got derailed by Tampa Bay, and then KC got derailed by Tampa Bay as well. Their O line was just, you saw Mahomes running around, just atrocious. So we got guys like Cameron Jordan, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, Khalil Mack, all within those first 6 games. D-Bach coming off a pup after that, hopefully. You think we can hold together enough up front, to kind of have a stable run game, a non-rush passing game? What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think we were talking about last week. It'll be interesting, obviously, no matter what, it always seems like Khalil Mack doesn't really line up against the left tackle anyway. I think Jenkins, based on what everybody says, he's going to be good, but really the question is going to be at the guard position.
Yep.
Will the guards hold up? And they looked pretty bad last year against Tampa Bay, but will they hold up? I think we'll be good enough, but we've had some bad luck against the Bosa brothers the last couple of years when we go to California. But I trust the offense. The offense.
Yep. The thing is if one of those guys goes down, or say 2 of them, then that's where things really start.
We just need to stay healthy where we're at right now with Jenkins. That dude is. He's good.
Yeah,
it just comes. We got question marks at all the other positions. Now, granted, the question marks aren't as big as what a lot of other teams have, but Billy Turner, he's got to show up and show big early on.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Same with Lucas Patrick. He just, you just kind of never know. He was in the battle all preseason, and
it seemed like he was going to maybe lose the spot. And once D-Bach comes back, there's a good chance he could be losing his spot. But I guess we'll just go ahead and wait to see what happens there. Obviously going against Cameron Jordan early, I don't feel like we've ever really struggled. When we played them a couple years back, when was it last? It was last year we played them in because of Lazard's big catch.
The famous Taysom Hill fumble.
Taysom Hill's fumble turned that game upside down.
That's right, baby.
But I think we'll be
down the sideline for a touchdown.
Yeah, I think we'll be just fine. To be honest, I think Bosa and Watt scare me. I think Mac's just as good, if not better, than some of the other guys. But I don't think Mac is, for some reason, has been as impactful as like the Bosa brothers have killed us the last couple of years. So,
that
I'm a little bit more nervous about that. All in all, So
Yeah, both. Man, the Chargers game, that we lost that one, and they were terrible that year.
that was an ugly game.
And he wrecked. Melvin Ingram was wrecking with them too. So yeah, that'll be a test. I think we'll be all right if nobody gets hurt. We're getting the ball out quick, and that's fine. Shoving it down their throat with Jones and AJ Dillon, and running some stuff to DeGuara out the backfield, maybe Dominic Daphne. I think we'll be okay.
Yep.
So moving on, Sunday's game. I called it the A team earlier. They're not my favorite broadcasters, but they're one of my faves. I love Sunday Night Football. Chris Collinsworth, he's my guy. I like him. But I call these guys the A team because they get the game of the week every week. Troy Aikman, Joe Buck in the booth, Aaron Andrews on the sidelines. Many Packers fans would say, I don't like this. I'm muting it, I'm watching with the radio in the background instead of them. And I get that, and that's fine. Are you a fan or a non-fan of these guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan. I know a lot of people don't, for some reason, well, not for some reason, there's obvious reasons why not everybody in Green Bay likes Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. But I mean, I think they do a phenomenal job. I mean, I really like Joe Buck. I can watch a baseball game with Joe Buck. I mean, I'm not
a Hall of Famer in the podcast.
Yeah, I'm not a baseball guy, but he's just got that. He brings you in, and who doesn't want to watch Aaron Andrews?
Good point. I think we have Tom Rinaldi also.
It's an attractive trio that brings everybody in.
No doubt.
I can agree with you though. The Collinsworth, the Sunday Night Football is very good as well.
I love it.
I mean, those are my two top. A lot of it too is because sorry, my child in the background. I think those are the two, A teams, and that's obviously what the NFL thinks as well. So
sure. I love Jim Nantz and I love Tony Romo, but for us, I don't personally see him as much on TV. I feel like they're always doing the West Coast games. I don't know if that's
right. They are a lot of AFC games.
How many times has the Packers gotten Jim Nantz and Tony Romo? Not very many. Probably I can count on one hand that I can remember with that duo. But yeah, I love Tony Romo, as everybody has said and roots for. He explains the game so that everybody can understand it. And
I mean, I'm a big Romo fan because of that too. But I mean, we'll see. I'm sure we'll get these guys a lot, but obviously, kind of moving on to what we think. NFC North opponent time. Rob, who's our biggest threat this year in the NFC North? The question I was asking.
Man, is there a threat?
Is there a threat? I think so. Since LaFleur's been in town,
no, there has not
been much of a threat.
No. To me, if I had to pick a team, it's the Vikings. I mean, Lions are bad. They're just bad. I'm going to the Lions-Packers game week 2. I'm hoping for a blowout. Monday Night Football. They've had our number, it seems like. I think I saw last 10 years. Vikings have beat us 7 times. Lions have beat us 7 times. And I think the Bears are at 3. So they're right up there as far as competitiveness with us or with the Vikings against us, but they're bad. Bears are mediocre. They got a ton of questions and situations heading into the season, with the Dalton Fields fiasco, and their O-line still isn't good. And although their defense is good, I think it's aging. Maybe that's kind of a bold take and biased take, but I think it's aging. And then you've got the Bears coaching. Their team management overall has been one of the worst in the league. So I don't know. I think the Vikings have, one of, if not the best running back in the NFL when healthy. He's had a problem staying healthy. But Dalvin Cook, he's just a beast. We all saw it last season when we lost at home. And, man, almost came back and won. But, yeah, we ended up losing that, a large part due to him. I think he had, over 200 yards. So, but they got him. They got a nasty receiver duo in Jefferson and Thielen, a good defense that has potential to be really good depending on a few things, mainly that cornerback room. I know they got Patrick Peterson and Bashad Breeland leading the way. Bashad Breeland, shout out, ex-Packer. What do you know on the Vikings on NFC North team, an ex-Packer? Is that a thing? Man. So they got Mike Zimmer, in some people's eyes, one of the best defensive coaches in the league, and I would have to agree with that. So
yeah, so that's who you're taking.
yeah, I'm taking the Vikings. I mean, if Kirk plays above average, hands the ball to
Yeah.
Dalvin, gets the ball to Jefferson and Thielen, I think they're going to be a team that challenges us for the North and could possibly,
Yeah.
be a postseason team, especially with the expanded playoffs. But another thing with the fans back too, playing at US Bank is going to be tough for us, tough for opposing teams. So, what do you think? Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree. I think the Vikings probably have the highest ceiling as of right now, predictive ceiling, because of their star players. They got Justin Jefferson, wish we had him, but
Yeah, almost.
I mean, Thielen, Dalvin has had our number for the last couple years. Their defense, their defense is sound. They just, you know, paid Harrison Smith that big contract, keep him along. Yeah, I respect
Neil
him.
Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Smith is one of those guys that I respect. There's always a couple guys, as much as they're rivals, that you got to respect a couple of the players on the other team. And I've always liked how he's gone about his business. But then you got the players that you hate, which in turn gets you a lot of fan hate or arguments back and forth. I mean, I don't know about you, who you think the most annoying fan base is in the NFC North, but I mean, we both agree that the Vikings are probably our biggest competition. But come Sunday, when everyone's yelling at each other, who do you want to turn off?
Who do I want to turn off?
Who pisses you off the most?
That's a freaking loaded question.
Which fan do you just want to mute?
Oh man, I mean, we were talking about this before the show. I think it kind of changes depending on the year. When Rodgers went down and Vikings had that great year, they went 13-3, and then ultimately ended up choking to Nick Foles in the NFC Championship game after they lucked out and beat the Saints anyways. Should have been one and done, but that's neither here nor there, as people say. But man, from my perspective, the Lions fan base is fairly silent. They know their place and never really had much success. So I feel like year in and year out, it always comes down to the Bears and the Vikings, at least for me.
Yeah, I would say from
right. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Obviously, the Packers Bears have one of the greatest rivalries. Some would say in all of sports. But over the last decade or so, the Vikes have been more competitive, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So that's kind of made their fans and team a little more relevant compared to the Bears. But if I had to turn off one fan base, it'd be the Bears. Some, not all, Vikings fans love to use that Anthony Barr picture as their go-to, and that's fine. Whatever helps them sleep at night, that's cool.
That's a sad go-to.
It is.
The fact that their go-to is that they hurt one of our players one time is such a sad way to go. Yeah. It's if you're gonna throw all your chips in, it's really gonna come down to, you hurt our player one time.
Well, they don't have any chips to begin with, So, but no, I get it. You just send a prayer for them. I know they're struggling, and I feel for them, really, but I don't care to see it be any different. But anyways, as Bears fans, their famous quote that I see recycled and overused quite often is the 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterback playing in only, in quotes, only 2 Super Bowls to show for it. I understand that angle. I do. But at the same time, I see it as one of the dumbest narratives out there. Like, do I think we should have had more than one Super Bowl win with Rodgers? Of course. Wouldn't you agree? Like, we should have had more than one.
Well, we've been to enough NFC Championship games. The one versus Seattle is the one that hurts the most. But
it does. But at the same time, am I sulking and upset that we only, in quotes again, only have one Super Bowl Rodgers? Heck no. Any actual fan has to realize how crazy hard it is to win a Super Bowl.
And be as consistent as Green Bay has been.
And right, exactly. Half the league has, 0 Super Bowls. So I mean, zero. Half the teams in the league have zero. So if you want to go there and say Rodgers has, double the Super Bowls as half the franchises combined, I mean that's just a fact. So there, other so many factors that come into play, towards winning one, and I think the Patriots over the last decade or two, it's kind of skewed some people's perspective on how easy it may be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's really changed the way but then it's the same thing in the NBA though. Teams
yep,
are loaded up and they win, they win, they win. So everybody's just like, well, why is
yep,
if you're not winning, you're terrible. But the narrative 10, 15 years ago before this happened was not that.
nope. So I mean, let's just go out and say it. The Packers have won a Super Bowl more recently than the Bears have won a playoff game. Let me repeat that for those who didn't understand. The Packers have won a Super Bowl more recently than the Bears have won a playoff game. I mean, that to me is just nuts. And for Bears fans to continue to harp on postseason success in this day and age, all I can do is respect the commitment at this point. If I were to have the little brother syndrome like some Bears fans do, I'd combat that and say Chicago has the most Hall of Famers of all time, one of the best running backs of all time, and only one Super Bowl to show for it. But I don't waste my time, for the most part, on heckling with the team battling the Lions for the bottom feeders of the North. So, Bears fans, if I'm muting one group, it's them. So, who takes the cake for you? Bears, Lions, or Vikings fans?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, it seems like this question gets brought up all the time. Living in the Midwest, being a Packers fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally can't. It's so both ways, and a lot of it's obviously skewed with who your friends or family are fans of as well.
For sure.
As well as that.
Yep.
The the thing is like that I try to look past is like with the Vikings fans, they just literally have nothing to stand on. So it's just like for them, it's just laughable. Um,
Right. There's no base to their
and then and then
shallow.
and then the Bears fans, I would say as of late for me, the Vikings fans are more annoying. I
Yeah,
would say as of late because they've been better.
I
And
get that.
I think a lot of the Bears fans that live here locally near us have come to accept that their quarterback situation has been terrible for a long time. And
Forever.
I think they have entered, and a lot of them have passed the acceptance stage of failure.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I think the Vikings are in a big area. Those fans that I mean,
They're hopeful.
although it doesn't do it, just it annoys me when a fan base stands on the fact of I hurt your Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yep. Just give them the double thumbs up.
I hurt your Hall of Fame quarterback.
I get it, and I live.
Congratulations. I mean, it's just honestly all it is it's we have this one player, and I won't say it, but there's this one player uh, on our football team that we coach, and we call him Fly.
Okay.
We call him Fly because he's just always annoying. He's always pestering. He's always there. They're both fly. But all those fans in Vikings territory to me are just a bunch of flies.
What
Well,
if we can connect?
I know I didn't give you a definitive answer, but I'm gonna
No,
go.
that's perfect.
I'm gonna go with as of late the Vikings. I've got a lot of family that are Vikings fans too, but I'm gonna go that. But to be honest with you, both those teams live in our shadow.
Yeah, they do. Always have, really. I get it though. Vikes, they've been good, and
Yeah. I mean, respect to them.
they've been really good some years. I mean, even the year I think after that 13-3 season, or maybe the year after that, they went 5-0, and then they missed the playoffs. So, I mean, I get it. And there's some fans. I agree with you with about the Bears fans thing. They've come to realize that they just accepted it. We had some guy come on over do some stuff on the house the other day, and he was a Bears fan. And he walked in the office and had seen had seen the Packer stuff up, and And he was talking about, he's like, yeah, I don't want to say who I'm a fan of, but it rhymes with hairs, and I'm like, okay, Bears fan, whatever. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't know, he just didn't really know what to say. He was accepting the fact that it could be another crap year,
Yep.
but I think that's
Well,
kind of where both of them are at.
okay. Well, I mean, that's the thing is you don't know what the Bears and we don't know who the Viking. We think the Vikings are going to be our biggest challenge. But obviously in Green Bay, a lot of it for us has been focused on the 49ers, the Saints,
Yep.
Other teams. Like if you're a Packers fan in the last 10 years, you've been focused on the 49ers, the Saints, the Seahawks.
Now the
That's
Buccaneers,
that's
obviously.
who your focus has been. So
Yeah.
right now we have to focus on us once again because I think that's once again where we're at, which means what are we going to do? So what do you think we're going to do as far as regular season record and what how many wins do you think we're going to get? Where do you think we might lose?
Whew, that's tough. We got the new 17 game schedule. So
Let me put this out there. I think the over under, if I remember correctly, for Green Bay for wins was at 11. I want to say it was at 11 or 10 and a half is what the betting line is right now. 11.
that's fair. I'm not a sports bettor whatsoever, but I'd hate to bet the over and just take their money. I mean, that would be a shame. But like I said, not a sports bettor. When it comes to Super Bowl, I'll throw 10, 20 bucks on some prop bets, but that's beside the point. Season prediction. I got the Packers going 13-4. And
Another 13 win season.
another 13-win season, except for this year we're going to get over the hump.
There's
But,
not, yeah. Hey, I'll take 13 wins in the regular season every year.
and honestly, I'm biased, and that's
Right.
cool. I accept it. I'm super biased. So when I'm looking through the schedule earlier and we were talking about it, I struggled to
Hey,
find 4
hey,
losses.
so is James Jones, and he's been right back to back years.
Oh, heck yeah, he's a fortune teller. I wonder what his prediction is going to be this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's bias. Obviously I had a close friend that he asked me the other day. He was trying to bet. What did he sent me?
Little sports betting.
He asked me. He goes plus 750 for Packers to win the first 5 games. How is their schedule? I said honestly, I mean they have the Saints, the 49ers, and Steelers. I don't see them winning all 5. It's hard to bet a team to go 5-0, but I think Green Bay should be really good again. So I wouldn't bet on them to start 5-0 because they've got some tough games.
Yeah,
But
I'm with you. I got 13-4, like I said, overall regular season, 17 games. That's cool. The first loss coming in week 3 in San Fran against the Niners. I think they're solid. They got Garoppolo back there, and I mean he led them to a Super Bowl.
they were hurt last year. They were
hurt,
team.
and we trashed them, and that was cool. Rodgers to Devontae first drive. That play was insane.
I think they had like all their running backs hurt.
Everybody was hurt last year.
Was that they didn't have receivers out because of COVID too? Was it? I can't remember.
Yeah. I think Deebo Samuel was missing time.
Yeah, I mean they were hurting.
But yeah, I got them losing week 3, in San Fran, and that's fine. That's 2-1.
Yep,
that's cool to me. Next loss though, coming in week 9 at Kansas City.
Yeah,
you're playing at Arrowhead. Obviously, that's super tough, and you're playing against the second best quarterback in the league, and Patrick Mahomes. So there's 2 losses off the bat. Like I said earlier, I kind of struggled to find 4 losses, but there's going to be kind of a fluke loss, which I didn't pick that in my prediction. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean the fluke loss is it
happens, and that's fine.
It's gonna happen.
You learn from it, and that's fine. So, second loss at Kansas City in week 9. Then you got week 11 at Minnesota. Like we were talking about earlier, their defense is good. The stadium's going to be rocking. We're only going to have 2 losses.
It is a noon game, it looks like, though, but that could always be flexed.
Yeah, it could be. I could definitely see it be flexed. and the stadium's gonna be rocking. We're gonna have only 2 losses, so they're gonna be, they're gonna be headhunting. We're probably gonna have like a 5-game division lead at that point. No, just kidding. But
Agree.
I think we lose at Minnesota, and we play them towards the end of the year, third to last
Mhm.
game, I believe,
Second to last.
second to last game at home. I think we take
Get
care
a
of business
little
there.
event. Take care of business.
Um,
Maybe
that's
close.
three.
Maybe close up the division.
Yeah, yeah. Close up the division. We got Lions at the Lions last game. Take care of them. So that's 3 losses. My fourth loss is Week 14 at Baltimore.
Week
AFC opponent.
15. Week 15.
Week 15. My bad.
Yeah, you're good.
Lamar Jackson, AFC opponent. Yes, these are the same loss predictions that Aaron Nagler stated during his show Packers Daily earlier this week. And no, I did not steal his prediction. I just simply agreed with him 100% on the points that he made. And after looking through the schedule, those are the 4 I chose, and that's what I got. I think we'll go 5-1 against the NFC North overall, as you know, and everybody knows. LaFleur just been wrecking, shown more than enough over the first 2 years that he can handle this division, at least in its current state. So that means at least one home game since we'll win the North, and hopefully more, depending on how everything else shakes out once postseason time comes. So
Okay.
let's hear yours. Season
So,
prediction.
I mean, obviously, I think they're gonna. I think Green Bay will win 12 or 13 games.
Okay.
Now, I won't. I won't re-say everything you said, because we're on the same boat. So, what we need to do is identify. We need to identify one game that we think is going to be our letdown game. Now, who could that? Who could that be? What will be that one game that you think that we could just come out and shit the bed? Like we did against the Chargers 2 years ago.
You get
Um,
against the Eagles
hell,
that
we almost did versus the Jaguars last year.
we had
Um,
one win. We had one win.
I mean,
That's tough. I mean, I don't see it. I'm looking at weak teams, and the teams that pop out to me right away are the Bears.
yeah.
But I don't see us winning or I don't see us losing
I
to the
just
Bears.
for me, I'm just looking at getting. I'd say Washington football team or Arizona Cardinals.
I was literally looking at the Cardinals. It's in Arizona. It's a
Yeah,
time game. Brandy Lewis says San Francisco is that game. I
yeah.
think they're going to be a solid team, and I said earlier I had them slated as a loss already to them. But if we're talking about fluke losing a game to a team that's not very good,
That we're going to be favored by 6, 7 points, 8 points.
right? The teams that stick out, the teams that will be favored that much against are, the Lions, Bengals, maybe the Bears, maybe not, but the Washington football team, man, we really kind of play some solid teams down the stretch as far as non NFC North
So,
opponents.
so Brandy Lewis says San Francisco is that game. K Cope, which I think he's been in here last week too.
Oh yeah, K Coop's been here.
He
Appreciate you
said
hopping on, man.
Arizona on Thursday night after Washington.
Yeah,
See,
that might have to be the one.
so here's where I would say Brandy Lewis. The only reason why I will say that I don't know if San Francisco is that game is because I think San Francisco actually might be pretty dang good again.
Yeah,
Like I feel like we have to respect them. So I don't think it'll be a letdown game because I think a lot of fans might think that that'll be a tough game. Which is why I feel like Arizona or Washington might be that game. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. San Francisco might not be that good again this year, but they just had a lot of talent. So,
Yeah, and we're at home against Washington. It's a noon game. I went to the Redskins Packers game in 2019, the year before COVID, and I think we won like 22-10 or 22-13 or something weird like that, or 22-16, I think. And it was just kind of a not crazy exciting game. I think we scored the majority of our points in the first half, and then kind of just stalled. But that was when they had Dwayne Haskins and whatnot. But
yeah, that was a game that you would have thought we would have came out and blown them out, and that was
just killed them, right?
the offense did not come to play.
No. So I think
that's
we're
where
in
I stand.
consensus.
That's where I'm at. I think
So
12.
what's your final record prediction? What's your final
I hate to say 12
12
and
or
5,
13?
but
Yeah.
for some reason, here's my problem. I don't want to identify the same losses as you, but I
Yep.
just feel like 12 and 5, 13 and 4 is kind of where we should stand. But I'm
Yep.
going to go with the 12 and 5 just because, I mean, we do have a lot of quality opponents. The Saints, 49ers, Steelers, Washington football team, Cardinals, Chiefs, Seahawks, Vikings twice, Rams,
Rams.
Ravens, Browns might be decent. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of teams on there that could be good this year. I mean, everybody knows it's the NFL. Every year it changes. Browns could suck.
Yeah.
Green Bay could suck. I doubt
Injuries, things
that.
that happen midseason can completely derail a team. And yeah,
Yeah, I think the Saints are a big unknown right now with their quarterback situation. I think what they'll be is a team that will probably win like 10-ish games because I
yep,
think Jameis Winston,
the best.
Jameis Winston gives you a lot of high and gives you a lot of low. So I don't know. That's where I stand. That's where I'm at right now for where I think we're gonna be, and let it play out.
Perfect. We're pretty similar. Brandy says, you know what, Bengals have come close before as well.
Yeah,
And they have. So, and if Joe Burrow comes out and is playing good, but
yeah.
I just don't think
Out of conference teams that the Packers do not play often are those teams, the Colts
yeah,
last year, and the Colts were a
exactly
good.
right.
Colts were a team that was set up to give us that challenge.
Yeah. Adding
What expectations do you have for Jameis Winston? Um, let's go with a quote that Charles Woodson used to say, "Same old Jay." I think we might get a little bit of same old Jameis Winston. He's gonna throw us one or two.
I think so too.
I think he's gonna
Whether
throw.
it's
I think
yeah,
he's
whether
gonna
it's
throw a
one
couple.
during the game and then if they're
And
trying to
here
come back at the end, throw it. But yeah,
he might have a sneaky 364 yards passing.
oh yeah.
All of a sudden you look back at it and his fantasy numbers are great, but then you're like, yeah, but he's one of those quarterbacks that can throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, and do
Yeah.
it in the next big game again. And
Oh,
so then, yeah, he might throw 30 touchdowns, but he's going to throw that 25 interceptions. I mean, I think he's actually a decent fantasy football pickup this year.
oh yeah.
But I wouldn't want him to be my QB1.
I completely agree. So switching gears here, we clipped a couple tweets that we just want to chat about. First up, Packers History 1. If you guys don't follow these guys, it's a good follow. Um, it tweets out exactly what their username is, Packers History. Stuff like this is always interesting to see to me personally. So I figured it'd be a good one to throw up and chat about. So he says, let me start out by saying that Julio Jones is a transcendent football player. Julio Jones' career starts 134. Devontae Adams' career starts 93. Julio has 60 touchdowns in that time, and Devontae has 62. The career we are witnessing in Green Bay right now is absolutely insane, which I completely agree. He's been just an absolute monster for us. You know, his numbers sometimes don't seem real.
He's only had 2,000 yards receiving, but he's also had 2 years of 998, and both those years, like he was hurt.
Yep. I mean,
So
last year he was hurt and still wrecked. I mean, just absolutely
yeah,
destroyed.
his 18 game pace was like 1,500, was like 15, 16, 1,700 yards, 130 catches, and like 20 touchdowns was his like last 18 games, something like that.
Unreal. You know, and everybody always says, well, he has Aaron Rodgers throwing in the ball. He's got one of the best, you know,
Julio Jones had an MVP,
oh
and
yeah, Matt Ryan.
Matt
Yep.
Ryan throwing him the ball, and that
Sure.
that offense was not run happy by any means. So,
No.
But he got a lot of yards. Julio gets that 12, 13,
yeah.
1,400 yards. They just
Julio is just a, you know, once in a generational type of specimen, kind of like a Calvin, you know, like Calvin Johnson. Those two are just insane, and Packers fans know him all too well. Going back to that NFC Championship game where he just absolutely destroyed Ladarius Gunter on the sidelines. Yeah. But anyways, he still produced with Brett Hundley throwing him the ball. I was looking up today. In the 9 games, him and Brett Hundley were going at it. Devontae had 48 catches, 556 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So the dude's just a monster. I hope we sign him to a long-term deal, partly because I just ordered and got his throwback jersey for
Mm.
this year, and I think they'll get it done. I can't see them letting him walk away, regardless of the circumstances. I don't know if you feel the same way.
E- Either there's rebuilding a team and moving on from players, but it's tough to move on from a guy like that. To be
Yep.
honest, I know it's hard to say. It's tough to move on from Aaron Rodgers, but I think that story is a little bit different.
Well, I completely agree.
Adams is literally, a little bit more in his prime. I know Rodgers just came off an MVP season, but Devontae's kind of one of those things that they need to wrap him up. But with Rodgers, it's a little bit different for all the reasons we all know why.
Yep, I agree. So next up, another pass catcher for the Packers, Bobby Tunyon, Big Bob. Obviously, we know, everybody knows. He's just
Sign him
bursted.
before he gets 10 more touchdowns.
Yep, he's bursted onto the scene. Everybody's taking notice. The Ravens just signed their tight end Mark Andrews to a 4-year, $56 million deal. How can the Packers keep timing without breaking the already broken bank?
Yeah. Hey, I don't have the answer to all those questions. I'm not a salary cap genius.
Not Russ Ball.
There's obviously different ways for Russ Ball to make this happen, and we've noticed in the past, they've made it happen. But
It's going to be tough.
it'll be interesting because they might it might be an Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams type thing where they're just like got to keep him and let the other guys go. I mean, I'm not comparing Jay Sternberger to Jamal Williams, but I mean maybe that's a comparison where they're both kind of the same age. And one's got to go, and you stick with the top guy. I mean, I hope he stays, obviously, but I'm also in the boat that last year was a huge surprise. So we got to see it again. We got to see it again. So really, I'm not going to overreact because one season. But at the same time, I've heard a lot of good things. It seems like the guy's got his stuff together, and I think he's going to have another really productive year. And let's just pray he doesn't get hurt, and I didn't just jinx anything, and that we don't put this clip back up in 4 weeks if he does get hurt and blame me. But
I'll be the first one to do so. If so, don't worry.
You think the Packers offense will have to carry the defense until the defensive plays faster with the new scheme? I think Green Bay's offense will prediction because it's all predictions. It's all a guessing game. I think Green Bay's offense will come out quick, and I think it'll work. There's a lot of different ways. The thing that always is in the back of my head is 2 years ago, the offense for some whatever reason struggled very badly in a lot of games, and the defense held them up. But then last year, the offense was lights out. So I'm really honestly interested to see. I think we're going to get the really good offense, but there's still that in the back of my head of, hopefully we don't start slow or come out early and score 17 points and then just go dud. I think the defense will be just fine, to be honest with you.
It'll take some time to gel, but they'll
there's a lot of good players on the defense now.
Yep.
We see Adams healthy all year. Yep. Pay Jair before anybody. The secondary is really questionable without him.
Agreed.
I could agree with that. I mean, he's definitely your first guy that you would pay is Jair.
I agree. So, moving on.
Sorry to kill you off the tangent. I just wanted.
No, you're good.
Brandy Lewis is putting in the questions. I mean,
I like it. Yeah, we love it. So we got trivia. Last week's winner, James, he answered the question of when what round of the draft, I believe in 1956, was Bart Starr selected? And he answered correctly in the 17th round. So James, big shout out to you. Head over to Twitter and give him a follow at J16James. And another note, it's his birthday tomorrow. So have a good birthday, James. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this week's question: to whom did Brett Favre complete his first pass to? Quick, wow, that
Brandon.
That's quick. I threw it up on Twitter literally 1 minute ago. We got 5 answers, all of them himself, 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 himself. Perfect. I don't know if that was too easy, but it's funny. First career pass you throw to yourself, kind of a trick question, but as everybody knows, Packer fans are educated and they know their history well. So, Brandy, why don't you go over and DM me on Twitter and just let me know that I'll know you're the winner this week. So, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you, Brandy. That was an easy one. We'll try to switch it up next week. Maybe make it a little more difficult. One of those where you may have to look at the question, type it in on Google, kind of thing, and figure out your answer that way. Sound like a plan, John?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, or maybe pay close attention to the game on Sunday.
Yes.
Maybe we get our trivia off of that.
Yep. No, that's a good idea. So that about does it for us. Any last words for you, John? Maybe like prediction for this Sunday's season opener against Saints?
Prediction. I think we come out scoring. I think we put up 7. I think we put up. I'm gonna go with we put up 20 points in the first half.
Okay.
A Mason Crosby field goal right before half to tip it off. I think I'm looking at like a 31-23 type game. I think we come out and early we're up, 2 possessions, let them kind of climb back in. But I think a big difference is, as little as it sounds, hopefully a Mason Crosby field goal before that first half kind of puts the game really in control. And, maybe we're up 20-7 or something like that.
Yep.
And then, with Jameis, they're going to take their chances. But, maybe we get up comfortably, but I'm going to go with like a 31-23. Maybe looks a little closer than what it really was, but we come out firing.
Perfect. I'm right there with you. I think we're going to win handedly. Offense will play great. Defense will play, bend but not break, the usual Packers defense over the last few years. And I think we'll win 1-0 and boom, on to the Lions.
Love takes the victory snaps.
We'll take that.
Oh, and then the start of Jordan Love.
Yes, sir. So before we actually end it, I didn't even chat with you about this before the show. John and myself, every year for the past 4 or 5 seasons, we do this thing. It's like a game. So it's all luck. It's all chance. We write out 8 players' names on pieces of paper. We put the 4 top names in one, and we each pick one by one. So, Adams, Jones, maybe a combination, a couple receivers, and the tight ends and running backs. And we each pick one. So then at the end of it, we have 4 names, and whoever scores the first touchdown wins. So say I picked Adams and he scored the first touchdown. He's usually the favorite, him or Jones. One of us wins, and we count up those tallies all season long until the end of the season. And whoever has the most correct weeks, which I did last year. We just, in the years past, we've done chicken strips from Pepper's, local bar and grill here. It's just solid. And now that I get to talking, you still owe me chicken strips from this last season.
Well, you've only invited me over to your house once in the last month or 2, so that's your own problem.
You were just over here last Saturday, but whatever. In any other words, we're gonna hop on. We're gonna hop on probably this Sunday before the game. We're gonna start doing that live. It's exciting. It's fun. It's all luck, and it's something that's exciting. The beginning of the game, and right when it happens, and it's fun. So over on the website, we got the tallies from last year. I cleared them out. We're gonna get it ready for this year. We're gonna hop on Sunday and do that. So anyhow, to everyone in the comments section and those watching, big thanks for tuning in. We love doing this, chatting, with some Packer fans that are just like us, just regular fans. So check out GBP Daily on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Shoot me a message on any of those about whatever, and we can chat. We can, shoot the shit. And I'd love to hear your feedback on the show, the page, the site, anything. So I want to continue to make GP Daily enjoyable for all you guys. Links are in the description of this video. So on the behalf of Johnathan and myself, we'll catch you guys later. Thank you.
Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go.